Have you ever looked at a lotus flower? Not just the bloom, but the journey it takes. It begins deep in the murky mud, a place of darkness and struggle. Yet it rises, unstained, to open its petals to the sun. This isn't just a flower's story. It's the perfect metaphor for a man who would become one of the most revered figures in human history, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. Born in the 6th century BCE, Siddhartha was no ordinary child. He was a prince, destined for a life of opulence and comfort, sheltered from the world's harsh realities. His father, a king, ensured he never saw suffering, no sickness, no poverty, no death. But curiosity, as it always does, found a way. On a series of secret excursions beyond the palace walls, he witnessed the 4 sights: an old man, a sick man, a corpse, and finally a wandering ascetic, a man who had renounced the world to seek spiritual truth. These sights shattered his gilded cage. He realized that a life of pleasure was fleeting and that suffering was an inescapable part of the human condition. At the age of 29, in an act of profound courage, he left his kingdom, his wife, and his newborn son. This wasn't an escape, it was a quest. For 6 years, he sought answers through extreme self-denial, meditating in jungles and living on almost nothing. But this path of suffering led only to weakness, not to enlightenment. He realized the truth lay not in extremes, but in the middle way. He found a new path, one of moderation. He sat under a Bodhi tree, vowing not to rise until he had attained the ultimate understanding. He faced his inner demons, his fears, and his desires. And after a long night of deep meditation, as the morning star appeared, it happened. He was no longer just Siddhartha. He was the Buddha, the awakened one. What he discovered wasn't a set of commands or a new religion. It was a simple yet profound insight, encapsulated in the 4 noble truths: that suffering exists, that it has a cause, craving and attachment, that it can cease, and that there is a path to its cessation. His teachings weren't about a god or a creator, but about the individual's journey to inner peace. He spent the next 45 years of his life walking, teaching, and sharing a path to liberation that was accessible to everyone, regardless of their background. The story of the Buddha is more than just a historical account. It's a timeless reminder that true peace isn't found in external things, but in understanding ourselves. It tells us that from the deepest, darkest mud of our lives, the potential for a pure, enlightened mind is always waiting to bloom. And that, in itself, is a journey worth exploring.